You become what you focus on. As appealing and inspiring they may sound, it could be interpreted in an entirely different manner. If we don't choose what we expose ourselves and our thoughts to, then what's gonna become of us? We've grown increasingly vulnerable to media manipulation. I wouldn't say entirely, but certainly to a significant extent. If you observe closely, every social media platform is designed to entice you to click, purchase, or watch. Everything's got a hook in it. Nothing is given out of love. It may sound cute when Netflix notifies you about your favorite show's second season coming up, but it's more likely that you will sacrifice a whole week just to watch that season. I'm not particularly fond of Netflix, and it perplexes me how it achieved such widespread success. But then again, stranger things have happened. Hey, it's fun. Watching is the best, I do it all the time. But in doing so, it disrupts my momentum and makes it considerably challenging for me to go back to work. Consequently, my immediate response is to switch to watching something else. No one can argue that the best time to be alive is now. Technology, smartphones, and social media have changed the way we connect, learn, consume information, make purchases, travel, do business, and you can even make a living wearing your pajamas. As the opening quote suggests, our quality of life is highly dependent on what we focus on. There will never be a utopian era where everything is flawless and each progression solely yields positive outcomes. Such a notion is simply unattainable. However, the key to navigating these changes effectively is to be smart and adapt and use them for our benefits, not as detriments. Unlike adults who experienced life prior to the advent of modern technology, rendering them veterans, they may not possess the same level of facilitated access as the youth. However, they undoubtedly exhibit superior coping mechanisms and adaptability. Before delving into the perils of modern technology on children and teens, I would like to point out that granting them unrestricted freedom in any aspect, whether it's money, time, or entertainment, will definitely pose significant risks. Negligence in fulfilling responsibilities as a parent or guardian, repercussions will inevitably follow, despite any subsequent remorse or regret. Excessive screen time and unrealistic expectations will heighten the risk of anxiety and depression in teens. Most social media apps set a minimum age of 13 for users. However, the US Surgeon General reports that nearly 40% of children aged to 12 and 95% of those aged 13 to 17 are using these platforms. Social media is a contributing factor to the significant rise in teen depression over the past decade. Surveys conducted among US adolescents reveal a notable increase in depressive symptoms and suicide rates between 2010 and 2015. After analyzing the data, the study authors identified three main factors driving the impact of social media on today's youth. Sleep deprivation. Teens often stay up late, scrolling through their social media feeds. Exposure to cyberbullying. They are at risk of encountering harmful, false, or private content about themselves on social media platforms. Hey, just lay off obese people, they have enough on their plate. Reduced physical activity. Spending extended periods of time scrolling through social media on phones or other devices leads to prolonged sitting and less time for exercise, thereby missing out on the mental health benefits of physical activity. Picture this: the movie Joker is like a fine wine for adults, with its intricate directing and Joaquin Stellar Oscar-winning performances. But for kids, it's like serving them a plate of chaos with a side of questionable role models. I mean, it's definitely making a compassionate case for a deranged psychopath. Who knows, after watching, they may just decide to paint their school walls in vibrant shades of mayhem, as it happened before. I'm sure some kids would have survived if it wasn't for that stupid rule, no running in the corridors. I don't know about you, but it's extremely alarming when you hear the statistics say that suicide is the second leading cause of death for children, adolescents, and young adults aged 15 to 24-year-olds. You see, I don't think they're doing it out of joy. But you have to stop. Look, if every ugly guy out there or the most useless person there is keeps killing themselves, then I wouldn't have any views. What causes suicide? Well, people killing themselves, obviously. It's inevitable in some cases. It just happens, and leave the concerned devastated and confused, not to mention self-blame and guilt. The question is, what can we do? Watch and listen. Keep a close eye on a teen who is depressed and withdrawn. Understanding depression in teens is very important. The reason may be stupid from our perspective, but it's a big deal to a teenager. It may take the form of problems with friends, bullying, peer problems, sexuality. Try to keep the lines of communication open and express your concern, support, and love. Being a teenager now is completely different from the past. It's difficult to understand yourself as an individual, let alone maintain a unique personality. In a world that constantly tries to mold us, in a society that relentlessly promotes the appeal of fitting in, there's nothing we can do about it. People gotta meet ends and pay bills, and even the most rebellious teen out there longs for public acceptance and conformity. After all, who doesn't want to feel accepted in the eyes of their friends, family, and peers? And we are social creatures. But how social is too social? Where do we draw the line between socialization and individuality? At one point or another, social norms must be disregarded. In any case, it's our duty to guide little ones. That's not to say create a generation of contrarians, but rather advocate for equilibrium. If you lost people to suicide, I am very sorry. Let's get through the pros and cons of social media. Connecting and communicating with other users through messages from afar. Your wife says making love is better when on vacation, via email. That can be good. Creating groups, pages, and online communities based on interests and topics. Social media addiction. Enables bullying and harassment. Promoting business, brands, products, services, and personal profiles. Promotes superficial connections and polarization. Accessing news and current affairs from around the world and staying updated, in a form of a twisted game of truth or dare, where truth never gets pegged. Yes, it's propaganda. Social networking has become a cornerstone of modern digital life, providing connectivity, information access, and entertainment, along with business prospects. However, unchecked, social media usage can spread misinformation, jeopardize privacy, diminish productivity, and harm mental well-being. Bottom line is, it's great, it's only people that suck.